Hey viewers, welcome back to Deep Dive America, where we uncover the secrets they don't want you to know. If you watched our JFK assassination video, you know the official story is full of holes. But what about his brother, Robert F. Kennedy? Just 5 years after JFK's murder, RFK was gunned down in a Los Angeles hotel kitchen. The killer? A lone gunman named Sirhan Sirhan, or so we're told. But here's what doesn't add up. Witnesses reported a second shooter, a mysterious woman in a polka-dot dress. The autopsy showed RFK was shot point-blank from behind, yet Sirhan was standing in front of him. Even stranger? The LAPD destroyed evidence. Key witnesses died suddenly, and the FBI files are still classified today. Was this another government cover-up? Did the same forces that killed JFK silence RFK too? Tonight, we're diving into the hidden evidence, the CIA's shadowy role, and why RFK Jr. is still fighting for answers 56 years later. This is the truth about the assassination they don't want you to see. Let's begin. On June 5, 1968, at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, Robert F. Kennedy had just delivered a triumphant speech after winning the California Democratic primary, a victory that positioned him as the frontrunner for the presidency. Moments later, the celebration turned to horror as gunfire erupted in the hotel's pantry. RFK was struck multiple times, collapsing onto the floor as chaos engulfed the room. The chilling audio recording of the shooting captured 13 distinct gunshots, yet Sirhan Sirhan's .22 caliber revolver could only hold 8 rounds, leaving 5 bullets unaccounted for. A discrepancy that has fueled decades of suspicion. Multiple witnesses reported seeing a second shooter, including a mysterious woman in a polka-dot dress who was heard exclaiming, "We killed him," before vanishing into the night. Even more troubling, security guard Thane Caesar, who was standing directly behind RFK, was seen drawing his own weapon but was never properly interrogated by authorities. The LAPD's response was swift, but their handling of the crime scene was shockingly negligent. Evidence was trampled, bullet holes were ignored, and key witness statements were dismissed. The official investigation failed to explain why no fingerprints were found on the shell casings, a near impossible scenario if Sirhan had acted alone. Even more baffling, the coroner's report claimed RFK was shot from behind at point-blank range, while multiple witnesses insisted Sirhan was in front of Kennedy the entire time. Why were these contradictions never resolved? Why was the pantry cleaned and remodeled within days, destroying any chance of a proper forensic re-examination? And why did the LAPD ignore the polka-dot woman, despite multiple credible sightings? The deeper one looks, the more apparent it becomes that the official narrative is riddled with holes. From the missing bullets to the unexplained second gun, from the dismissed witnesses to the destroyed evidence, every piece of this puzzle suggests a cover-up. Was Sirhan a patsy? Hypnotized or manipulated into taking the blame? Was this a conspiracy involving intelligence agencies, organized crime, or political rivals? The truth remains buried, but one thing is undeniable. RFK's assassination was not the work of a lone gunman. The evidence, suppressed, ignored, or lost, tells a far darker story. The case of Sirhan Sirhan takes an even darker turn when examining the psychological and forensic inconsistencies surrounding his confession. Though he initially admitted to shooting RFK, he later claimed to have no memory of the event, a detail that aligns disturbingly with witness accounts of his bizarre, detached behavior during the trial, where he appeared to smile vacantly as if in a trance. Forensic psychiatrists who examined him discovered evidence suggesting he may have been hypnotized. His personal diary was filled with repetitive, almost robotic writings of "RFK must die," as though programmed to repeat the phrase. This revelation becomes even more chilling in light of declassified CIA documents from the mkultra program, which detail extensive mind control experiments conducted on unwitting subjects during the same era. Was Sirhan a victim of such manipulation, conditioned to act as a patsy while the real killers escaped scrutiny? His defense team certainly believes so, but their attempts to present evidence of his compromised mental state were blocked by the judge, leaving critical questions unanswered. Meanwhile, the physical evidence further unravels the official narrative. Sirhan had no gunpowder residue on his hands, and witnesses placed him in another area of the hotel just before the shooting, holding a cup of coffee. Hardly the posture of an assassin lying in wait. Most damning of all, the bullets recovered from RFK's body did not ballistically match Sirhan's revolver, a fact the investigation inexplicably ignored. If Sirhan didn't fire the fatal shots, who did? And why was there such a rush to pin the crime on him while dismissing every inconsistency? The speed with which the case was closed, the suppression of exculpatory evidence, and the refusal to explore leads like the polka-dot woman or Thane Caesar's involvement all point to a deliberate effort to bury the truth. The more these gaps are examined, the clearer it becomes that powerful forces had a vested interest in ensuring this case was never fully solved. RFK's assassination, much like his brother's, remains shrouded in unanswered questions, and the disturbing possibility that those who orchestrated it never intended for justice to be served. The deliberate destruction and suppression of evidence in RFK's assassination forms one of the most disturbing patterns in American political murders. Within hours of the shooting, the LAPD mysteriously destroyed the Ambassador Hotel's security tapes, footage that could have revealed crucial details about additional shooters or conspirators. This suspicious act was just the beginning of an evidentiary blackout. The autopsy photos disappeared without explanation, while the coroner's official notes were later found to contain alterations that changed key details about the shooting circumstances. Even the pantry walls containing bullet holes were torn down within days, eliminating critical forensic evidence. Witnesses who could have challenged the official narrative faced systematic elimination. Sandra Serrano, who famously reported seeing the polka-dot-dressed woman fleeing while shouting, "We killed him," swingingly discredited through a campaign of harassment and character assassination. Investigative reporter Dan Moldea, who pursued inconsistencies in the case, received multiple death threats, a chilling message to others who might dig deeper. Even Paul Schrade, an RFK aide who was himself wounded in the shooting, spent his life insisting Sirhan didn't act alone, only to have his testimony ignored by authorities. Other witnesses who reported seeing multiple gunmen suddenly changed their stories after intense police interrogation. The government's secrecy surrounding the case remains impenetrable. The FBI's assassination file remains 90% redacted under dubious national security claims, 6 decades after the crime. This mirrors the JFK cover-up playbook with eerie precision. The same pattern of autopsy manipulation, witness intimidation, and evidence destruction. Most tellingly, the LAPD's lead investigator later admitted they were ordered to stop digging, but never revealed by whom. This raises the unavoidable question: what shadowy power structure had both the means and motive to orchestrate such a comprehensive cover-up? Former CIA operatives have since come forward suggesting the agency maintained files on RFK that were never released to investigators. The systematic silencing of truth-tellers, disappearance of physical evidence, and ongoing classification of documents suggest this wasn't just bureaucratic incompetence, but a coordinated operation to conceal the real architects of RFK's murder. When every institution tasked with investigating the crime, from local police to federal agencies, actively suppresses the truth, it points to conspiracy at the highest levels. The enduring mystery isn't just about who killed RFK, but about the forces that ensured America would never get honest answers. Even today, FOIA requests for RFK assassination documents are routinely denied or heavily redacted, suggesting the truth remains too dangerous to reveal. The parallels to other political assassinations of the 1960s form a disturbing pattern of unaccountable power operating beyond democratic oversight. This case represents more than just a historical mystery. It's a litmus test for our government's transparency. The continued classification of documents, suppression of evidence, and silencing of witnesses, decades after all principles are dead, proves that the cover-up outlived the crime itself. What could possibly remain so sensitive after nearly 60 years that still threatens national security today? The answer likely reveals not just who killed Robert Kennedy, but how deeply compromised our institutions truly are. Until all files are released and all evidence examined, RFK's assassination will stand as both an unsolved murder and an ongoing crime against historical truth. The very persistence of the cover-up may be the most damning evidence of all. Robert F. Kennedy represented the most dangerous threat to America's establishment in decades. His twin promises to reopen the JFK investigation and immediately withdraw from Vietnam put him on a collision course with the CIA, Pentagon, and military-industrial complex. Classified documents revealed the intelligence community had been tracking RFK since his days as Attorney General, with internal assessments branding him a clear and present danger to national security interests. The suspicious circumstances of his murder go far beyond coincidence. His security detail was inexplicably reduced on the very night of the assassination. At the time of his death, polls showed RFK leading Nixon by double digits, making his removal a political necessity for the establishment. The involvement of CIA-linked mafia figures like Johnny Rosselli, who had motive and means, points to a coordinated operation rather than a lone gunman. Like his brother's assassination, the cover-up followed a familiar pattern. Evidence disappeared, security tapes destroyed within hours. Witnesses were discredited, Sandra Serrano harassed, and investigations were obstructed. FBI files remain 90% redacted. Former FBI agent William Turner confirmed the same COINTELPRO unit that monitored MLK was also tracking RFK's movements. Most damning is who benefited. Nixon won the White House, Vietnam continued for 7 more years, and the truth about both Kennedy assassinations remained buried. The identical playbook used in both killings, from witness intimidation to evidence tampering, suggests an institutionalized system for eliminating threats. RFK's murder wasn't just a political assassination, but the silencing of America's last best chance to confront its shadow government and end the Vietnam nightmare. RFK Jr. As relentless pursuit of truth challenges the official assassination narrative. He's demanded classified files and even met with Sirhan, who maintains he was brainwashed and framed. Modern forensic analysis of the audio evidence confirms at least 2 shooters fired that night, directly contradicting the lone gunman theory. Yet authorities continue blocking full transparency, keeping critical documents sealed decades later. The eerie parallels to JFK's assassination persist. Manipulated evidence, silenced witnesses, and controlled narratives. These weren't random tragedies, but calculated eliminations of threats to power. Now, history circles back as RFK Jr. runs for president like his father, reopening old wounds. His campaign forces America to confront uncomfortable truths. Was his father killed by the same shadowy forces that murdered JFK? Will he uncover what really happened? Or will the truth remain buried, proving some secrets are too dangerous to reveal? The answers may determine whether we ever break this cycle of political violence and cover-ups. The RFK assassination reveals how power hides uncomfortable truths, from destroyed evidence to silenced witnesses. This video isn't just history, it's a call to action. Do you believe Sirhan acted alone, or was this a political execution? The bullet evidence, witness accounts, and suspicious cover-ups all point to a conspiracy far bigger than one man. Engage below. Your voice matters in demanding transparency. Subscribe now, because next we're uncovering MKUltra's dark secrets and its potential ties to the assassination. This is Deep Dive America, where we chase shadows the world ignores. Question everything, especially the official story, because the truth about RFK's murder could rewrite history.